Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Cloud Experts Unleashed. And these are some of my favorite ones where I get to talk to our customers about what they're doing and how great xByte is. So it's a win-win. So today I am joined by the president and CEO of ezWaiverPlus. He is Steve Lahm. So Steve, welcome joining us today, and we're excited to hear your story.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Appreciate your invite, Brian.
So I guess first, why don't you give us a little blurb or a minute or two about ezWaiver?
For ezWaiver is a software and service provider that's been focusing for about almost going on 20 years now on document signing, but even more specifically, legal related document signing. Uh, you can think of waivers, agreements that have to be managed related to all the adult and minor requirements, state requirements, and managing document histories and things like that. So we've been focusing on that for about 20 years, and our focus now in the last 3 to 5 years has really been expanding into more complex integration of those capabilities into other systems.
Exciting. So if anyone out there is needing to have some kind of document, some kind of signature, authorization, document management, they should definitely hit you guys up. So please
Mhm.
help us. If you're listening, do that. It'll help out Steve here. So Steve, uh, about xByte and xByte Cloud, you how did you first come to us, and why were you looking for solutions?
Yeah, we have, like I said, been around for about 20 years now. And we started with one, a different hosting provider. They were more regionally located, close to where we were at that point. But we've always been in Cold Fusion kind of environment, but we really didn't know enough about server providers at that point, and it was pretty early on in that overall market space, such that the expertise of Cold Fusion became more and more and more of an issue. Let's put it that way, and to a point where there was one changeover that we almost had one of those nightmare stories of having the system go down and be. We were up in the middle of the night trying to get it back up and running, and it was really all because the changes that were made were not understood by the hosting provider because of that lack of complete expertise in Fusion. So that was the background that brought us to be looking, and we ran across like quite seriously different courses that we were looking in.
Nice. Now, so you needed that expertise in Cold Fusion, and so you found it. Obviously, you wouldn't be talking to me if you didn't choose xByte Cloud for your provider. How did the initial migration process go for you?
Um, Boy, on two different fronts, it went better than we could have expected in some ways, and then yet on the other front, it played out over a period of time, kind of what we had hoped for. And what I mean by that is we have multiple server uh, integration kind of an environment with different, whether it's data or signing or backup or all staging. There was many different elements to what we were doing, and so we really needed complexity of understanding. And we came to xByte, the xByte team, headed up by Dakota. It was a really pretty exceptional experience because we had to go through back and forth and getting access, giving them access, walking through what everything meant. And it wasn't that they fully understood our system, but they fully understood what they needed to know to bring the transition about. And one sidebar comment is one of my architects from years ago was literally amazed that we were able to do it because of the complexity. He said, "You," because we were working with him in a different way at that point, and he commented to me and said, "Whoever you're working with, these guys really have to know their stuff, but to make this happen."
That's great to hear. So we transitioned you over. Your servers were all working on in our private cloud. What else have we done beyond just the having your servers on our cloud? So Go ahead.
Right, right. I mean, on an ongoing basis, I mean, that transition took months, probably 7 months to accomplish. That's why the part of it that I was kind of expecting. But since then, and even through that,
Wait, actually, you
and
know what? Let me, sorry to cut you off. I do
yeah,
want to
it's
ask
fine.
one question about the migration. Just I
Yeah,
think people who are listening will want to hear this because it's it, it's a scary process. I mean, you're kind of trusting someone to move your business over. How did that fear play a part in your migration? And this may not even be xByte cloud bases, but
right.
how was that emotional roller coaster of getting over that fear to move? And
That's great. Yeah, that's a real question. There was a lot of concern. I mean, there was a lot of, like I mentioned, with some of the key experts that and developers and architects that we worked with on our system over the years. There is a lot of, I would beyond disbelief, there was a lot of doubt and questioning whether this could ever be done because of the complexity, because of the data, the amount of data that we built up over the years that need to be moved, those kinds of things. But I would say the process really was a step by step trust building kind of a process. Um, we had a map that Dakota and his team put together for us. We kind of knew what the roadmap was going to look like. And then over a number of weeks, we just stepped through it. And the great part about that process was as we hit these, okay, is this going to work? Can we prove out these environments? Of course, we start with our staging environment before we went to production, but being able to walk through all those steps, getting our all the communication management with the servers in place, um, it gave us confidence that we needed as we would step forward. And that last step wasn't like a leap into a canyon. We'd already taken multiple steps along the path of building trust and understanding and proving that, the transition, the migration was working. So the last step, even though, yeah, it's kind of scary to turn it off, we still had even a backup plan for that. Uh, it was reasonable, but it took a lot of time and trust building as part of that process.
oh, that's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people they fear making the move because of that change.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've heard people go through a lot of pain at hosting providers out there because they fear the move. So interesting to hear from that perspective
Yeah,
how the team was able to help you kind of step by step. There's a good word, step by step, prove that hey, this is going to actually work.
right. Yeah, that was definitely our experience.
So then your data's over, your servers are over, everything's running. But we've done stuff beyond just the we were talking about a second ago, beyond just the hosting of it. I mean, we're continuing to work with your team almost as a virtual CTO.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's part of our package actually. They're on at a smaller level, but it's a monthly activity. It varies depending on where we're at in our cycle of development and projects and that kind of thing. But I think it's two things that have been really important for us as as we're able to get past the migration and into production and breathe a little bit after that. What where the ongoing value, and I think the greatest value for us for the future is, and in two different levels, because Cold Fusion has its own set of issues. We don't have the expertise in house to fully understand the implications that Cold Fusion and the server environments and all the different structures that we have in our system. We rely heavily on the team at xByte to make sure that we're managing all the updates coming through. So we've got ongoing security improvements going on, and that's not a small thing. There's plenty of as the updates go through and we try to do testing, it's hard to get everything fully tested. We run into bugs, and we reach out to the people at xByte, and they've been amazing at their response time and knowledge and understanding of walking through, even to the point of getting everybody on the same screen at the same time, looking at our structure of our code and the functionality that we're trying to pull, and they're going, "Oh, yeah, that was deprecated. We've gotta get that fixed." It's that kind of a support that's been incredibly valuable to us. But the second level is, I think we were talking just before this, interview started a bit, and that is just as in any company, you're always looking to find ways to grow and scale, and we've been working in some new, in a project for this year in this past year that'll is gonna launch us into a whole different market space, globally. And so the expertise of handling, uh, a global level application that xByte brings is incredibly valuable as we start strategizing what does that look like scalability wise, what do we need to what do the resource plans need to look like to provide the level of ongoing hosted service that we need, not just in North America, but beyond.
Nice. So are you guys looking to go with servers overseas?
Well, it's possible. We're still working on that. That it's definitely within the market space of one of the new segment that we're targeting. But yeah, that could very well be part of it.
Oh, that'd be exciting. I know I've talked to the teams before, other customers going through geo failover and moving locations to be closer to the end customer.
Right.
So it'd be exciting to see kind of what infrastructure they put in place for your specific needs.
Mhm.
Now, you mentioned Cold Fusion, and I'm lucky enough to work with the Adobe teams a lot, and I'm interested to kind of hear your take on Cold Fusion. Like, how did you guys even start with Cold Fusion to begin with? And I know there's many options nowadays as far as programming languages go. Why have you
Yeah.
stuck with Cold Fusion?
Boy, there's a lot of elements in that. I'll start with how did we get there? The team that I was working with earlier, team of developers, and especially the architect, uh, this was the Cold Fusion was early on, but it had the capabilities of providing, the CF language structure that enabled the security, so you weren't just in straight HTML. But more than that, it had the functionality to manage all of the database calls and the database interaction. And it's, in our case, generating signed documents, things like that. It just had all the pieces we needed, and so all of the reasons were there for us to start with Cold Fusion. And over time, we've continued to expand and develop our system. Uh, and it's not that we haven't looked at modularizing and looking at other technology structures to build into what we're doing. But the best news, the best reason we continue to stay with Cold Fusion has been the recent expansion and focus in the last couple of years on really growing the base of capabilities of Cold Fusion. It's been fun to see that. And so from a roadmap standpoint, as far as where our technology is going, we don't see ourselves moving away anytime soon. And not that we'd ever move away, because we have so many things that are already built in, or capabilities that are depending on Cold Fusion. But like I said, there may be some opportunities to modularize, but we are very pleased with where Cold Fusion is going, and in the combination of that related to the connection with Dakota and his team, the expertise that they bring really helps us look into the future and see how we can best utilize Cold Fusion.
Excellent. Yeah, the I know in a couple of weeks we have Charby on the line or on a separate podcast I'm a part of, and she's going to be talking about some of the new beta program out there. 'Cause there's some new stuff coming out with CF 2025. And so if you are curious, or anyone listening is curious, and when you're listening to this presentation, I know Charlie Earhart has a online Cold Fusion meetup, and I believe he has it
Okay.
recorded of all the new features coming out that Charlie just did on his podcast. Or
Yeah,
I mean,
excellent. Actually, Charlie is one of the guys that I listen to that actually helped point me to that fight.
oh, nice. Well, we work a lot with him, so Yeah, we'll actually Dakota is redoing his presentation from the ColdFusion Summit on the online CF meetup that Charlie runs,
Nice,
coming up here in a few weeks.
nice. Well, I'll look forward to that.
Yeah. All right. Steve, if anyone is looking to know more about ezWaiver and reach out to you, how can they find you?
Uh, First place to go, either find me on LinkedIn, at Steve Lahm. You can always go to our website, ezWaiverPlus.com. We've kind of have a lot of our different system capabilities broken out there as a starting point, but you can contact me there or just contact me directly at steve.lahm at ezWaiver.com.
All right, easy enough. Steve, thank you very much for joining me today. I never get tired of hearing about our customers and us. So
Yeah,
thank you very much.
yeah, it's been a great time. Thanks. Appreciate the invite.
All right, good day.
Okay.